Hi guys, this is Michelle at Moon Shadow Tarot and welcome to the Gemini reading for July 2020. So I went ahead and I pulled just a quick oracle card as the overall message theme for the month, and then on camera I'll pull all the tarot cards and explore this. So what I got for you was trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So we're going to find out more about what that's about. So let's dive right in. Gemini, month of July 2020. Gemini, July 2020. Another couple of cards. Wow. This is a gorgeous energy for you guys so far. Absolutely gorgeous energy. Let's get some clarifiers. Oh, goodness. Whoa. This is amazing energy. Amazing, amazing, amazing energy. It's so funny because I've got a bowl of crystals up here at the top of the table. And when I was sitting down to start your reading, I was just really, this crystal here just caught my eye. Just the beautiful yellow color on it. It's piece of orange calcite, this one. And I mean, I've already done 2 readings today, one for Aries and one for Taurus, and that crystal did not catch my eye for them. And I just thought, I looked at the beautiful sunny color and I thought, oh, I wonder if Gemini is going to have a really happy energy reading. And it looks like you guys are. So trust your path though. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So I'm actually going to start in the 3rd row of this reading, because it looks to me like you've been in a timeout zone. So we've got the Hermit card, which in this deck's called Aloneness, and it's in the reversed, meaning that you're coming out of a time of having to be by yourself, having to go within, having to reflect, having to spend a lot of time alone. But it looks like you're coming out of that energy. But there's something about that time out that you had, or that time alone, that, and what you were thinking about and what you were processing during that time, that I almost feel like has knocked your confidence a bit. This is the 6 of Wands in reverse. So the 6 of Wands upright can mean pride, it can mean success, it can mean public recognition, it can mean, like other people celebrating your achievements. So it's almost like maybe you've been reflecting on the fact that you haven't been as successful as maybe you've wanted to be. Maybe you even were overconfident and like you were too proud or too confident, but you perhaps hadn't earned it in the past. And it may be that you've had to take a time out and you've been reflecting on this. And yeah, it's almost like it's knocked your confidence a little bit, I want to say. But hang in with me there, because it's actually, like I say, you've got good energy. I'm wanting to get more clarification on your first row and your end row, your start and end rows. But the reason I say it's looking great for you, like really, really great, is you've got the abundance card here, which is the King of Pentacles, upright. And you've got the Sun upright. Now the Sun is the happiest card in the deck. The Sun is stepping into your power, it's seeing things clearly, it's happiness, it's celebration energy, it's so much good stuff, right? Like it's But I really do want to get some clarification on these other rows here, just for a second. I'm going to get a clarification card on the Rebel and Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Ooh. Okay. Can I get a clarification card here on Flowering and Queen of Wands in reverse? Roses. Okay. So, we have the Rebel, which is the Emperor, but in this deck it's called the Rebel, which it's not in any other deck that I'm aware of. And I almost feel like if you're watching this reading, you might be someone that considers yourself a bit of a rebel, like you're unconventional, you like to do things your way. I almost want to say you like to control things. And in the past, you might have been too busy trying to control outside circumstances and you hadn't been good at controlling yourself. Because the Knight of Pentacles, it's kind of a boring in it. Or if you're someone that's kind of badass, you kind of are rebellious, you like to live according to your own rules, then the King of Pentacles is kind of like the exact opposite of you, I want to say. Like the King of Pentacles is someone that's like steady Eddie, right? Like they're the kind of person that they stay in one job like forever. They build a really solid career. They're very careful and calculated. They have a really good plan for their life. They're not really someone that focuses so much on what other people are doing. They're very invested and they're very logical and methodical and step by step. They sort of play by the right rules, and as a result, they generally end up in the King of Pentacles energy. I feel like, which is someone that has self-mastery over themselves, they're very disciplined, and as a result, they tend to be very wealthy, they tend to be very stable people. The Emperor can be one of two things. Generally, a lot of people think of the Emperor as kind of being the king of all kings. So it's the person that represents the kings from all four suits. But the Emperor can also be someone that's very... The Emperor can be someone that, when they're not in their best energy, they can be very controlling. They can be someone that almost wants the status of an emperor without having done the work to be an emperor, if that makes sense. And I almost feel like this is you. And it's almost like, I almost feel like it was an overcompensation energy. Like, This is quite a complex reading. That doesn't surprise me. Geminis, you're quite complex people. But it's almost like, because you yourself are not that Knight of Pentacles type personality, right? You're just not naturally that kind of real steady, eddy kind of energy. You're not, yeah, like to a true Gemini that leaps from thing to thing and bounces from this and bounces from that and has all these ideas brimming, this is almost quite a boring energy. You probably know people like this in your life, and you probably think, gosh, they're a bit plain, they're a bit boring. This is the kind of person that does the same thing every weekend. They they know what they like and they know what they don't like, and they're very disciplined, very in control of their own life. But to a Gemini that has lots and lots of different interests, and that, this can be quite a boring energy. But it's almost like you were jealous of these kind of people that because they had a lot of public recognition. These were people that got raises and advances and promotions in their career, and as a result, these are the kind of people that you might know that are very wealthy. So we got sudden wealth and wealthy man, but for you, it came out like that. So it's almost like I'm getting this energy of like you were jealous of people like this in your life that had this, and it's almost like you were trying to control or manipulate things or sort of get ahead, but without having kind of done the work. But here's the thing, Geminis. Here's the thing. This is actually a really positive reading for you guys. Here's the thing. You're not naturally this kind of person anyway. So comparing yourself to people like this is not a good measure for you, because if you're going to get wealthy and if you're going to achieve success, it's going to be on very Geminian terms anyway. You're not going to achieve success and achieve fame and achieve money and wealth via the same kind of mechanisms that this kind of person would. This is like a Taurus energy, a Virgo energy, even a Capricorn energy. It's not the same kind of way that you're going to get to be to your place of power. And it's almost like you're starting to understand this now. It's almost like, I almost want to say that with this energy over here that we had, it's almost like the energy of pride comes before a fall. I almost feel like you had some sort of setback that forced you into a time of hibernation, of reflection, of being by yourself and sort of figuring out, where did I go wrong? Like, what the hell, It's almost like you feel like you lost something. Maybe you feel like something was stolen from you and it was unfair. But, I feel like you've had a new, or if you haven't already had a new understanding, you will have a new understanding. And the new understanding is that you can achieve what you want to achieve, but you've got to come about it from a Gemini energy. Don't try and be someone that you're not, and also don't try and get where you want to go by deceptive means. So it's like, if you embrace your true strengths as a Gemini and do those things that only you can do, and do them to the best of your ability, it's like you are going to get the wealth and the success and the fame and the fortune and the attention that you really want deep inside your soul. And not only that, but you're going to get the happiness that comes with it, because it's going to be that sense of pride that you get from knowing that you've earned it, from knowing that you've gone about it in a really from knowing that you've gone about it in the best way for you, the best way for everybody else. And So I actually see that you've just grown, you've just come into your own. And it's interesting because you've got the King and Queen of Pentacles out here. So if this was a relationship reading, and I'm not getting the sense that this is about relationships for you, but if this was, this is when we would say, as a tarot reader, you've got a true pair on the board, meaning you've found a partner that matches you perfectly because you're from the same suit. So it's like you get each other's values, you're in sync, like all of that. I don't think this is about another person. What I think this is about is I think this is about like you starting to balance your own energy. It's like you're starting to understand when you need to be very masculine, very dominant, very aggressive, very like take lots of action, go after what I want, be disciplined, make all the moves, right? But you're also starting to understand that there's a time and a place for nurturing yourself, nurturing other people, for sort of looking after yourself at home, looking after your home, looking after your body. It's like you've come into this balance, or you're about to come into this awareness of like, there's a time to be active and there's a time to rest. There's a time to be really selfish and focus on me. There's a time to be more outwardly focused and being generous with others. There's a time to be loud and be heard and have opinions and speak them. There's a time to be more silent and more where you're the listener and you're taking in new information. There's a time to rest and play. There's a time to work. It's like you're starting to understand like all the pieces and how they work together. And it's actually a really, really, really beautiful energy. It's a stunning energy. And this card just shows me, it's got the word down here, flowering. This is showing me that you are growing as a person. You have grown as a person. It's showing me that you've let go of this side of yourself that Queen of Wands in reverse means like it can be a very jealous energy. It can be a very aggressive energy. It can be a very spiteful energy, and it's upright. It represents confidence, but it's like when you're not as confident maybe as you've been portraying yourself, some of the shadow side of that comes out. And so I feel like you're letting that go, or you're becoming aware of that part of yourself, and you're now growing. You're coming to a realization, and you're actually growing more into who you really are, growing into a better version of yourself. And I think you're aware that whatever it is that you feel like maybe you've lost, or I think you're understanding that you can recover that loss. Like you can rebound, you can get back to a place of abundance, of success, of recognition, fame, whatever it is that you want. It's almost like you've just got to trust yourself, and you've got to support yourself, and you've got to realize that the universe has your back. Like, you don't need to meddle. You don't need to interfere. You don't need to be a puppet master that controls all the strings. You don't need to hold grudges. You don't need to be someone that you're not and try and beat other people at their game. Like, if you just play your natural game, if you show up in the world as who you really are, authentically, as a Gemini, because there is so much to love about a Gemini. They're very, Geminis are very quick-witted, they're funny, they're intellectually stimulating, they've got a million ideas, they're good communicators. often, there's so many positive attributes, right, of being a Gemini. And so if you embrace who you really are and you let go of maybe trying to be people that you're really not, and you realize like everybody has their day in the limelight, everybody has their season of glory. And when it's your turn, if you are being the best version of yourself and just showing up as who you naturally are rather than trying to be someone else, you will be supported. Like, you will get your moment in the sunshine. You will get your success and your happiness, but you've got to let go of just all the other distractions, really, that get in the way. And I think you're starting to come to this realization if you haven't already. So like I say, that's a very different reading. That's a very specific reading, actually, for you guys. I don't think it's necessarily going to be for every Gemini that watches this. So that's my disclaimer. If you've listened all the way to the end, thank you very much. But if this doesn't make sense, do not make it fit. Don't, this is really specific, which means that it's not going to be for every single Gemini that watches it. If you don't feel like this was for you, please do check out my other monthly videos for July 2020. So if you've ever gone online and gone to one of those free birth charts, if you haven't, I highly recommend it, because what it will do is it will show you what your sun sign is, which is what most people think of as their star sign being, but it'll also show you what your moon sign is, what your rising sign is, and often those resonate way more than your sun sign, just depending on what else you've got going on. So feel free to check out the videos for your moon sign, for your rising sign, for where your Venus is, where your Jupiter is, anything else. If you haven't already, do go online and get your birth chart done. It's really, really interesting. It's free of charge. There's a whole range of different sites that do it. And then you'll know what other videos you can watch to get inspiration. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.